All right, guys, welcome to the debut of Game or Garbage, the podcast where we take games, we tear them apart, and we tell you if they're going to be good or bad. So, we're just going to jump right into it. I'm here with Hyperverse, my co host, and today
Hello.
we're going to be talking about Minecraft, Pokemon Yellow, and Halo, the entire franchise. Because why not? But yes, this is our stream. Welcome. Anyway, Hyperverse, how's it going today?
Good. I've been awake for
It,
like an hour. It feels very rushed.
of course it does, because it was. We were supposed to start 30 minutes ago, but we're here. But anyway, yes, so to start things off, we're going to kind of give you a rundown of why we wanted to start this game. We want to be able to predict and, kind of, well, I won't say predict. Can't really predict anything, but we want to give our best chance at being able to say if it's good or bad whenever it, releases from a AAA studio or an indie game, whichever one we decide to use that day. So let's start it off with some Pokemon Yellow. Hyperverse, for those people who don't know what Pokemon is, you want to fill them in?
All right. I kind of doubt someone doesn't know at least a little bit about Pokemon. But not every Pokemon is Pikachu. That's a main thing. A lot of people get confused. it's it's pocket monsters as they were referred to in the past. Little creatures, kind of one for one in the first generation with real like animals. So there's a cat, there's a dog, there's a bison. Like there's almost one for all the animals for like the general animals a lot of like kids can relate to or understand. And you can capture these Pokemon, train them, and evolve them, which is it's very evolution forward, even though it's not the same as like actual evolution. So you can get a Pokemon, and depending on if it's capable of evolving, evolve it into something stronger, bigger. And there's a lot you can do, a lot of battling, and yeah. There's no, it's not forcing you to do certain things, but to progress, you have to follow the story.
Okay, so when did you first start playing Pokemon? Because I played Pokemon pretty much as soon as it released. I think it was one of the first games that I actually bought that was, a handheld for the Game Boy Color.
Right. I it's hard to remember the exact age, but my oldest sister had Pokemon Yellow, and I remember somehow getting a hold of that Game Boy. Definitely should not have because I wiped her save, but I was having a good time trying to figure out what I was doing. Like I understood enough how to follow the steps. So I knew I had to go from this point to that point, and I had to go defeat this gym leader. So I was like old enough to comprehend exactly what I was supposed to do. It must have been in elementary school, maybe like third, fourth grade, something like that. But I've been playing
Well,
ever since, off and on.
I'm going to show my age. I was 8 years old when it released.
My
Sorry, I take that back because
ages.
it originally released in Japan in 98 and then released in North America in 99. And this is one of those iconic games that I really wanted to hit on because I played it when I was 9 years old. I've been playing games since 1996 or earlier. But yeah, I played this game when I was 9 years old, and it was a huge success across the boards because you get to play as a little guy trying to capture and enslave Pokemon to make them fight each other, right?
Enslave, good word. Um, it's more like people can go in there not knowing how to play, and you can still kind of fumble your way through. You don't have to be super knowledgeable or precise. But for those people who are more interested in endgame and they do get better in later games, you have like the type effectiveness and resistance and even immunity to certain types that you have to worry about, or I guess you don't have to, but they'll help you along the way. So this rock gym, I can just destroy it using fighting, grass, or water, generally.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know. I've always kind of, to be honest with you, now getting back on track of what we're supposed to be talking about on why this game was such a big success. Honestly, I think it was because of the simplicity and complexity at the same time. But getting back to that, it got so redundant that at some point I actually stopped playing it. I never did actually beat Pokemon Yellow.
What?
Yeah, I know I'm a horrible gamer, but I never did actually beat Pokemon Yellow because I hate redundancy. And that brings up a very valid point on why would this game be so good if it's so redundant? Because your whole purpose is to walk around in some tall grass, get a random encounter, catch a Pokemon, go to a gym, win the gym battle, right?
Yeah.
And then become a Pokemon master. Got to catch them all, Pokemon. But with that being said, how did this game get so popular? Is it the simplicity?
I think having the anime. Actually, when did the anime come out? Was before it, right?
The
Because
anime
this Pokemon Yellow
released
is based on Ash, I believe.
Pokemon Yellow is, but Pokemon Green, not this game obviously, but Pokemon Green did release before the anime, so the Pokemon series was before the anime ever was created. So, and that was a pretty popular game in Japan.
Right.
Obviously, North America can get shafted, but the anime released in 1998, if I remember correctly, and then Pokemon Green released in 1996. So this game released in conjunction with the anime itself.
I think at least
So
for the US, the anime had a big like advertisement factor to it. But by itself, if I were introduced to this game not knowing about the anime, I probably would have also been hooked because it's fun to. You can see a Pokemon that you like, that you think is interesting, is cute, is powerful, is whatever, and then that can be your favorite, and then you can carry that with you the entire way. You could have a
okay,
whole party of those. It's you can
yeah,
kind of do what you want.
yeah, and to correct one of my points from before, it was actually April 1st, 1997, that the anime was released. So
Um,
that had a year of advertisement, and then Pokemon Green, I believe, released in 1996. So the power of the internet, right?
yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, yeah. So the Pokemon Green released a full year before the actual anime. But did is it really justifying that an anime be the only reason why a game is successful?
No,
Because obviously that game is nowhere near the anime. You're not playing Ash Ketchum running around in this big, vast, colorful world on the Game Boy Color that wasn't even physically possible. With the new release of Sword and Shield, that's exactly what you're doing, which is, kind of what they encompassed in the original Pokemon Yellow, but not exactly. So,
yeah, it's taken some years to get to where we are, and I don't think it's anywhere near perfect, but they've listened to like user feedback, I think.
oh yeah, for sure. But I don't really like the direction that they went. I really like the random encounters. I didn't like the frequency of the random encounters. As soon as you touch grass, you're basically in a never-ending loop of
Yeah,
battles.
if you
But
go into a cave, you're like, oh my, I hope I have repel. I want an escape rope. Please just get me out.
yeah, right?
The caves were the worst. I always hated that part.
Yeah, no. Honestly, most of the time I went to trying to find the missing number Pokemon, missing
Wow.
no. Yeah, that was my whole purpose in that entire game.
The glitches
So,
are part of the fun though. It's not, it's not really, it's just exploiting the game, but it can be kind of fun to see how the game functions on a more like zeros and ones level than when you normally see the game, because you can start breaking the game in such a way where you can make you can get to the end of the game within like, I think the clock stays at 0-0 for your time played. People have done it with glitches. I don't know. That's just an extra little add-on. It's pretty fun.
yeah, but I mean, come on, getting missing no, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And then,
And if you know, if you transfer that into, someone put it into Pokemon Bank and it turned into a Kangaskhan because it was like some of the code ripped out of Missing No was some sort of in the family of Kangaskhan, and it looked like Cubone was supposed to evolve into something, which was missing now, into a Kangaskhan. And I guess they didn't like that, so they scrapped it and gave it a dark story instead for the
Yeah,
Marowak.
I mean that's rough. I mean that let's but back on track to what we were talking about. We could talk about the glitches in that game all day. So the simplicity of the game is probably what made the game so good. They added a lot with very little, but they also added a lot of complexity when it came to the balances of like the Pokemon and things like that. But is it more appealing to the adult genre or the child? Because nowadays it's more adult, but when it initially released, it was very much a child's game.
Yeah,
And uh,
they weren't
games were kind
leaning.
of expensive,
Oh yeah, I
so
remember that.
games were kind of expensive. I wouldn't say they are because I mean, inflation nowadays. We're paying $65 for a brand new game. Back then, you could get Pokemon Go or you get Pokemon Yellow for I don't know what, $20, $25, something around that new.
Yeah, but that was more money back then.
Yeah, you're right. But I don't know. Was it the appeal to the children that made it sell so well?
I think part of it allowing you to trade. Actually, not allowing. In Yellow, they released Yellow by itself, and then it was Red and Blue.
Yeah, no, actually it was Red and Blue first. Red and Blue
And
released
then
in
Yellow.
yeah, Red and Blue
Okay,
released in 20 or 96 and then it was Yellow.
so it
Cuz
was.
Yellow was the debut of the color, I believe.
That, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure. I can't remember exactly when the Game Boy Color came to fruition, but it definitely was.
Well, part of the Pokedex completion and the requirement to trade must have been a helping factor. So a friend's like, "Hey, you have this game? Like, you should get this one because I need to trade." Blah blah blah, and that can
Yeah.
push you like a friend, word of mouth saying, "Hey, this game is interesting, and this one has so many, and that game has the other few." That was always fun. A lot of people have fond memories of connecting their Game Boys together to
Yeah, with that
trade.
stupid little transfer cable that was
Yes.
like a foot long.
Yeah.
Distance makes transferring slower. You know that, right? That's how that works.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
so one
there
hundred
is some
percent.
loss, but maybe not after a foot.
But yeah, so now with the color though, I think that's actually what drove Yellow. Because if you ask anybody if they've heard of Pokemon Yellow, it's pretty much inherently that they have. But what drove it home was the fact that they kind of stepped outside the realm of what gaming was originally, where there wasn't really any online capabilities at that time that were stable like what they are nowadays. There wasn't really any, trading or anything like that. They created a way to make it to where everybody can interact. You're not really battling each other, but you could still interact with your friends and family if your parents played and make it to where you could actually talk or trade and, connect the games in a sense. So I think honestly that is one of the main reasons why this one got drove home so hard and sold so well was because of that reason.
Yeah. It's
But
definitely up there, if not like a main reason.
yeah, I wouldn't call it the exact reason. Of course, Pokemon is Pokemon. Everybody loves Pokemon. I mean, the series has been around since 1996. Come on, it's ridiculous. So it's actually probably been around longer than that. We just didn't know about it because Japan didn't release it over to us yet.
Yeah, that
So
was
and
the biggest thing
there's
for them.
yeah, they're still making um, games for it nowadays. With Sword and Shield just released not too long ago. I think it was what 3 months ago.
In November. I don't remember the exact day.
Okay, so yeah, November of 2019, they just released a new Pokemon, and I guarantee there's already works as a continuation to Sword and Shield.
Oh,
And
there's expansion packs right now coming out soon.
yeah,
So
see,
there's more
and that
Pokemon coming. I think a new area of the map. They're bringing a whole lot.
See, with the recent updates to Sword and Shield, I'm completely on board with it because they did the best of both worlds, where they did kind of what Final Fantasy 12 did, where they made enemies out in the open, and this world Pokemon out in the open, but you still had random encounters.
Yeah.
So you could hunt Pokemon doing it the random encounters way, or you could specifically go and get the Pokemon that you wanted because you spend Hyperverse. You spend a lot of time playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, if I'm not wrong.
I have put a lot of time in for small payoffs because I'm just
Yeah,
searching for specific things. I'm searching for certain shiny Pokemon. And this game, usually, ever since fourth gen, there has been like a new shiny hunting method in the game. They might give you like a little radar, and the amount of times you encounter the same Pokemon can increase the chance. Or they've had Misuda method, which was the second generation, I believe. I think that was the first time they added a method, and that was just having a different region Pokemon breeding with your current region Pokemon. Somehow that alone is enough to increase your chances down to like 1 in 512, I believe. The numbers might be different, but it goes from like 8,192 to like under 1,000, and it's instantly like, oh yeah, I'd rather that one. But this generation, they didn't give us a method. They gave us max raids, but the way that they're introducing that is very, like, they took the idea from Pokemon Go and they're changing out who is in the raids for you to find. So I don't know if I would call that a shiny hunting method, even if sometimes the chances are like 1 in 10. It's not the same.
right, but that's something that you're choosing to do. If
Oh yeah.
like an average player like myself who would just enjoy playing Pokemon wouldn't do something like that. If I got a shiny, I'd be happy, but it's not my ultimate goal in the game, which is why it's a beautiful combination between the two. Not to mention the reworked environment and everything like that would definitely make this game an actual game. So there's there's that version that we've gotten now, which obvious technical limitations made it hard for them to give us that kind of quality in 1998,
Yeah.
99.
That was good though. The way that they created that game, I nothing else comes to mind. So if there's another game similar, clearly Pokemon did it better, had more notoriety to like surpass them. Because I only know of Pokemon being able to do what they did. It's all those calculations on the fly to give you randomized stats and Pokemon popping up at certain percentages of the time. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, just every time you touch grass, just give them 15 encounters. It'll be fine.
Yeah. You
But
try to run
yeah,
through really quickly and you hit like 3 Pokemon. You're like, damn it, I just want to go to the Pokemon Center.
right, and that's that. I mean, that's what made it interesting. So, like, as studying in game design has taught me a lot of things about random encounters and the interactivity of a player. You want to give the player an opportunity to do something other than push the front button and just walk, or if you want to ride your bicycle from one spot to the next. But if you don't give them something, this game would never have done anything. So giving that mechanic, that random little chance that you're gonna, well, I wouldn't even say little, but that random chance that you're going to run into another Pokemon that you possibly have never seen before and or defeated before or captured, you want that. You strive for that. That's the whole purpose of the game. Honestly, I had more fun playing this game just running around trying to collect as many Pokemon as I could than doing the gym battles themselves because it leveling the Pokemon was tedious and I didn't feel like dealing with it.
Oh, leveling. That they've made that better. Leveling was a nightmare in the past.
No, yeah, for sure.
It was a shorter zone experience. Like there's
Uh,
only so much, and if you didn't pick like the right few, you there was no way you were gonna easily get through the Elite Four without spending so many hours to try to randomly encounter high level Pokemon to give you a tiny bit of experience over and over. Ooh.
Yeah, it's rough. That's rough. And you could if you fought the Pokemon all the way to, unconsciousness or knocked out because you can't kill Pokemon apparently, then It's got to be family friendly, right?
I
But
know,
you can't.
but you don't get them back, so they're definitely dead.
Yeah, they're dead. We all know they're dead. We just call it knocked out. But you fight until you get knocked out, and you get like 10 experience, and that's nothing when you're trying to level a Pokemon to 50.
Yeah.
So, it's I don't know. It's kind of unbalanced in that point, but eh, it's still a fantastic game, and I would still go back and play it today if I could actually find a Game Boy Color somewhere and a original cartridge. I hate emulators, by the
I
way.
was gonna say you wouldn't do a virtual console.
No, no, no. Emulators are terrible. You don't get the same experience as carrying around a Game Boy Color that doesn't have back.
I
That
know.
you you got to carry around that little booklight that you stick in the top that powers itself.
Oh, I hate
That
it.
those generated so many memories when you're sitting there trying to play underneath your blanket tent and hide from your parents with that little
Yeah.
light.
Or
You know what I mean?
on a long drive and it's starting to get dark outside, so you're like waiting for every like street light to hope for like enough ambient light to just kind of play.
Yes, the good old days.
But
But
I like the idea of having the cartridge, but the way Pokemon has handled transferring Pokemon up generations, they goes from generation 1 to 2, and you can no longer bring them from the cartridge from 2 and up. You have to start at generation 3 from a cartridge, and then now you can still. I just did it the other day. I can bring them all the way to Sword and Shield from 3. I brought an Oddish. But that is the one thing that stops me. So I now have Virtual Console for Yellow and Crystal, because otherwise it'll stay on the cartridge and it'll never come off. We don't have an ability to transfer them. They like halted that ability. I guess they were trying to make us have a clean slate and change things, but
well, the gaming community says no to clean slates. I worked hard for them. I'm keeping them.
well, yeah.
So,
Especially in
they,
Generation 2 when they introduced shiny Pokemon. If you spent so much time to get those and now you can't, like they have to be stuck on that cartridge. You don't have an option. That's what annoyed me. Some people don't bring them, but I don't like that I can't.
yeah, and that makes sense because it's just I don't know. You're kind of limiting the player, and it's not cool.
I just want to
But
flex
I
on my
can
gym
understand.
leaders.
I got gym badges from all over the first era. But yeah, I mean, so on this note, we did pick 3 games today that we already know are going to be classified as game. 100% through and through because just the publicity that they got plus the user base that they got makes them way beyond our limitations of what is actually going to make the game good or bad. But we're just discussing why at this moment. And then we're going to talk about a game that, a lot of you may have played or may not have played that will actually be kind of on the fence because it's all a matter of opinion at that point. At these games that we're about to talk about now, which we're about to move on to Halo, are games that they've made their mark. They've set their history. It's not going to be any dispute. And if we tried to say that they weren't a game, we would get so many different hates and comments in the comments below saying that you guys were stupid and we don't know what we're talking about. But I have some things about Halo that I could say that would make things a little rocky. But I would have to classify Pokemon Yellow 100% as a game. I enjoyed playing it, even though I never beat it because I'm easily distracted, kind of like a cat. But you know, I would definitely classify it as a game. I played hours of it, never beat it, just played it to play it because it was fun. What do you think, Hyperverse? I'm assuming you're going to say it's a game because you're a Pokemon freak.
Yeah, whoa, we don't like the term freak. Other than
Oh,
Game
I'm
Freak.
sorry. Fanboy. We'll say fanboy.
So, I mean, Pokemon's amazing. It's gotten better with age, and I think they're just on the up and up. Except I want more Ultra Beasts, but that's a topic for
So,
newer games.
so what I just heard you say is that Pokemon is a wine, and it just gets better as it gets older.
Hold on, you cut out. Pokemon's a what?
Pokemon is like a fine wine. It gets better
Oh,
as it gets older.
yeah, definitely.
But here's the real question. Is it going to end?
I don't think so. Now with all the form changes that they've been introducing other than shiny Pokemon. There's like a new form of the same old Pokemon that also has its own shiny variant. So they have something to appease everyone. Like they give it new typings, new everything, and now they seem to be giving us oddball like Pokemon that can fuse together. That it's crazy. It's like everything's going crazy now. They're taking all the like kind of rules set in stone that they never announced, and they're like, hey, this Pokemon now looks like this, and it's completely different, and it evolves into something completely different. So
see,
they can
now
just tweak them.
that is where we differ, good sir, because I think Pokemon is going to come to an not relatively soon. I'm going to say I'm going to give it another 3 games, and then it's going to be over. It has to end at some point. You can't keep continuing on.
Hey, tell that to the Simpsons.
The Simpsons they died for a long time, and then they came back because it gave it that break that it needed for people to want it. You know what I mean? So it's a possibility that it'll stop and come back, but it will eventually die. And then I know all the Pokemon fanboys and girls out there will, hate everything about Nintendo, and they'll uprise against it because Nintendo stopped producing Pokemon games, but it's one of those things that it will die. And I'm giving it 2 maybe games before they're actually going to start pulling the plug on it.
I find that hard to believe.
But you can't keep going. You know what I mean? You can't. There's no way.
I don't know. 20 years strong now.
Yeah, and like I said, it ages like fine wine. Eventually, fine wine goes bad. So, yes, classified as a game, but I think it's going to end, whereas Hyperverse will think it's going to continue, and we'll see. It's all to come. That is just my prediction because everything changes. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. But we're going to move on to Halo because I think we've beat the dead horse of Pokemon one too many times. So let's move on to Halo, and I'm not talking about just specifically the first Halo. I'm talking about the full-fledged Halo franchise. And this is a conversation that could go on for a long, long time because there are so many Halo games out there, and with the current, like I wouldn't say current release. I don't remember exactly when Halo 5 released, but if you start at Halo 5 was terrible, in my complete and total opinion. That
Yeah,
one I
if
would
that was your
definitely
first game, I would say you didn't have the best experience.
Right. So that one classifies 100% as garbage. That I would not even rate it any other way because the storytelling, all of it was bad. Every part of that game was bad. The cutscenes, the QTEs, all of that was just terrible. They didn't let you play as Master Chief very often. I think you played as Master Chief once, and it was a QTE. No, sorry, but I'm not hunting down Master Chief. The whole storyline behind it was terrible because you're chasing down somebody who has done nothing but sacrifice their entire life to saving the planet. And now he's AWOL because he's doing the same thing he's done in every other game. Nah, sorry fam, that doesn't work. That's not how that plays. But now let's start at the beginning because that's my rant on Halo 5. But so Halo, the original Halo, released on Xbox. When did you play it?
Wait, are you talking about original Halo CE? I know was on PC.
No, I'm talking about the one that hit massive, consumer base of the standard Halo, Xbox and PC.
But I mean, was that Halo 2 or Halo 3? Because I don't know when it
it,
started. I started in 3. A lot of people talk about Halo 2.
Yeah, well, Halo 1, I mean, I guess, I don't actually know if that would, because CE did exist. It's just, it's not very widely talked about. So
No,
you
it
got
gained more
Combat
traction
Evolved.
after.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Halo Combat Evolved. That's where I started playing, and that did release on Xbox and PC. So, yes, that was my milestone for this game. Was literally the first one. I feel kind of old now, but it was 2001 that it released, so it's not too bad. But yeah, so okay, we'll just start at Halo Combat Evolved. That game was fantastic because it brought something to the game industry that a lot of people really fell in love with. The controls for it were fantastic. It was buggy, like every game when it
Mm-hmm.
initially released, but it allowed you to first person combat plus split screen. I remember hooking up all the TVs in a house and moving into all of our consoles into there so we could all hook up multiple TVs and have split screen tournaments and all that fun stuff because we were too cheap to buy individuals. And yeah, and it didn't really have stable online connection. So actually, I don't think it had any online connection because Xbox did. But yeah, Halo Combat Evolved. It's definitely a game. 100% rated a game right off the bat because it was a game changer, is what it was. There's a lot of games that today are modeled off of Halo. And then if you move into Halo 2, I played Halo 2, don't remember too much about it because I played it, ran through it. It seemed like it was kind of half baked and just pushed out to get the Halo franchise back up. I mean, it took them 3 years to develop it and then send it back out, and it wasn't really all that good to me. So yeah, I played it, but I really would consider Halo 2 garbage
Damn.
because I just didn't like it near as much as I did Combat Evolved. And then 343 turned everything on its head and went into Halo 3.
Well, I thought,
Well, actually, take that back. Sorry, Bungie, because 343 took over. But
yeah,
yeah,
Bungie
Bungie,
went to 3, and then
yes.
343 went ODST, I believe.
Yeah, which don't get me started on ODST. ODST was terrible.
Yeah, when I first remember like starting playing Halo, I don't know how, I don't know who talked to me about it, I don't know how I knew about Halo, but I remember getting an Xbox, and then within the same day, I got Halo 3. I think at the time ODST had come out, so I may have also had ODST, so I had the map packs and whatever, but like hearing that intro song, like the choir of like singing that
No, yeah.
everyone talks about. Like that's amazing. I knew the Halo 2 Mjolnir's mix. That's like a staple for the Halo series. There's like cutscenes from trailers of Master Chief just being a complete boss, like 1v1,000,000. You know, I don't. It's crazy. Him being a Spartan and he's doing things that would like defy what you would think is possible in these
Right,
trailers, and it makes
and
you
that's
want to play.
yeah, and of course, the upgraded graphics from the 360 really did boost it in my opinion. And it was good. It was a great game. Everybody loved playing it. It had a compelling story. The mechanics were solid. The movements that you could do, the gunfighting, everything, and then the online capabilities.
And
On
the Vid Masters.
yeah, and the VidMasters
Those
too. So
hard challenges just to be able to say you did it. You get this little
yeah,
in-game recon armor, the katana.
got
Oh,
got to get all the skulls, man. Got to get all the
yeah,
skulls.
that was cool. The way they added it.
So honestly, I played this game for a long time. I bypassed ODST. I didn't play Halo Wars because I'm not a big real time strategy player. So I don't like, build dropping troops in and playing that. So it's not my game style. So I'm not going to rate that one because I don't play it.
Yeah, I'm the
But
same on that.
I played Halo 3 all the way until it came out to the anniversary for Combat Evolved.
Hmm.
And whenever I played the anniversary, I was just blown away by the upgrades and the graphics and everything
Oh
like that.
yeah,
And they
and there's
made
a
the whole
button you can
game.
swap back and forth, and you can see the cutting edge
Yeah.
back then and now what we have, and it was just night and day.
Yep. And that to me was fantastic. It was like a smack of nostalgia with all the new stuff. And I loved it. I loved every bit of it because it was fantastic. So obviously, Combat Evolved Anniversary game, Halo 3 game, because they both, all of them, besides ODST and Reach, which both of those were trash.
I had fond
Um,
memories of Reach though. I can
yeah,
remember like playing that beta,
yeah,
but
and the only redeeming factor was the simple changes that they made to the multiplayer. That was all that I actually enjoyed with Reach was the changes to the multiplayer. That's it. The story that they put in it was terrible.
yeah, I mean, I'm generally not a fan of campaigns like almost ever. I'll jump into a game if I want to play the multiplayer. But Halo I like at least Master Chief's story. But generally I'll rate a game based on its multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say that. You know what I mean? I didn't. I'm not big on multiplayer. I have to have a nice story with it. So whenever like Call of Duty went to having only multiplayer, when it went to Black Ops 4,
Yeah.
I was so distraught, and it took me a really long time to actually buy Black Ops 4. And the only reason I did is because I wanted to play zombies.
Yeah. I know that's a
So
big selling point for that one.
yeah, and that's bad decisions in my opinion. Like it's kind of hard to stretch out war, but I mean, look at what they did with Black Ops Ghost or Call of Duty Ghost.
Yeah.
That
I stopped
that
following. It was getting weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, the giant space laser, it kind of turns some people off, but it was an interesting story. It was a twist that I wasn't expecting. And there's so many things that they could have done for Black Ops 4 because our history as humans is riddled with war and
Yeah.
just terrorizing stuff. You could have literally made Black Ops 4 go back to the, Renaissance age where we're fighting with swords and stuff. Why not? I
But
mean,
at least with Halo, it's like the world uniting against a much bigger worldly threat instead of internal. And
yes,
I think that's what people
100%.
can get behind. They don't have to worry
Yes.
about fighting another person. It's this alien threat that's just trying to just kill, just maim, and they're just trying to steal, our land or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's it's going to be interesting to say the least because they are coming out with a new Halo, Halo Infinite. If you
Yeah.
guys didn't know, they are coming out with Halo Infinite. And this poses a huge question because of the fact that Halo 5 really wasn't that good and I'm not really excited about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look
If they
at it before I'm thinking of buying it. I
All
needed
right, so
to.
let's just read the synopsis for what Halo Infinite is going to be about. So the storyline of Halo Infinite will be much more human, with Master Chief playing a more central role than in Halo 5 Guardians. The E3 2018 trailer indicated that the story will be set on a Halo ring and showcase the design of Master Chief's Mark 6 armor to return to the design scene in Halo 2 and Halo 3. So it seems like they're pulling themselves back to the nostalgia. They're pulling themselves back to when Halo was actually a really good series. And I think that's going to do them some benefit. But 343 has dropped the ball in the past with Halo 5. If they try to throw in a bunch of QTEs and they try to throw in a bunch of random nonsense that doesn't make any sense, it's going to dampen the entire series again.
Yeah,
Is it going to be good? Eh, maybe.
I don't know.
This one's a this one's a hard one to say because they are trying to bring it back to Halo 3, which were some of the best sellers that they have. So
If
it's
they
really,
can, sorry, between Halo 3, there was ODST, or sorry, there was Reach, and then there was Halo 4. The Reach went a weird direction, and then 4 went kind of back with some newer stuff. The way they
but
did 4, I liked. If they can do something like that with Infinite, it might get me to go back.
see, I can see that. because they kind of went way off script with Halo 5, and everybody knows that. And everybody raged about it for months. But Halo 4 did bounce back like they should have, and they were developed by the same studio. So 343 Industries did develop Halo 4 and then went to Halo 5. So are they going to play this game where they're constantly bouncing back and forth between this weird Halo reality and what currently is today? I hope not, because that would definitely dampen everything about it.
Yeah, if I mean, I'm not very educated on the book series, but I believe it's coming from somewhere. The inspiration, the ideas to make these games must be coming from the Halo
I,
book series. It may be
yeah,
coming off script, but
I've read not all of the series, but I have read a good portion of it, and it I don't know, they just kind of went off script. I don't care if they base it off the book. To be honest with you, I really don't. If they base it off the book, good for them. That's great. It's a great idea because the story's already there. But if they don't, at least keep with what you've already built. Because I think honestly, that's the reason why Halo 5 is considered garbage. Because it flipped everything too quick. Because Halo 4 was fantastic and, save Cortana, yada, yada, yada. And then you go into Halo 5, where he's actually pursuing that. And then he's considered AWOL because he's going to save this AI that's literally helped him through every single thing that he's been through, and nobody can understand it. That doesn't make any sense.
And she's not just an AI; she's like part human
of Master Chief. Yeah,
she's more than just digital.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think honestly, to Master Chief, she's more of like a lover, in a sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean by that.
Like I'm not
they
saying
definitely
that
have a
they're,
relationship.
shacking up. They're not shacking.
That would be that'd be a weird spin-off.
It's like you trying to take care of your sister. You know what I mean? Like that's the relationship that Master Chief has built with Cortana, and I think that's a awesome relationship. And they could have gone so many more directions with Halo 5 that reinforced that. If they would have let you play as Master Chief, of course. More than like what I think you honestly only played as Master Chief like 3 times in that game, and it was really annoying. But yeah, I don't know. Halo Infinite is going to be a hard one to judge because with what they're saying about it, it could be really good because they are trying to bring it back to the roots. Are they going to succeed? Maybe. Maybe, because that synopsis doesn't really break down what's going on in the story, and it also doesn't really break down how they're going to push it forward. There is some snippets from the development, and it says Halo Infinite is being developed by 343 Industries. Obviously, we all know that. They are using a new engine for it. They're using the Slipspace engine, which has had some pretty fantastic reviews, so you can pretty much expect fantastic graphics. So graphically, I would say that it's going to be fantastic, and that it would be game for that reason. But I don't know if it's actually going to be what we're looking for as far as what we want from Halo. Because Halo 5 did get a lot of sales, but I think that was because Halo built the reputation and then Halo 5 survived off of that reputation.
Yeah, definitely.
And so now that reputation has been damaged because of the choices that 343 made with it. So will it hold up to our standards? Will it hold up to the gaming industry standards? That's the real question that we're trying to pose, because 5 did not. 5 dropped the ball really hard, and everybody complained about it and ranted about it. So will Infinite hold up?
Yeah, that's the question. I don't know. I'm optimistic, but I don't know. I haven't really. I've played older Halos, but I have not played Halo 5 since maybe a few months after I first got it. It's been years.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, would you want to see like Infinite go back towards more like Halo 3?
It. I don't want to just say yes because people are just gonna be like, "Oh, you just rehashed this." So it has to be different enough to be new.
Yeah, but I
But
mean, look at the publicity that Resident Evil 2 got when they did a remake.
well, yeah, I mean they already have their remakes coming to Steam right now. So I know Reach is out. I don't know when the next one is coming out, but they have a slow release of the remakes all on PC. Well, not remake. It's just a port over. So it's like identical. Um, so
Yeah.
that is getting all of the kind of remake attention that they need. If they can do something like I was saying from 3 to 4 where the style was there just kind of updated and then they added those abilities kind of organically, like it just laid a new thing on top of Halo 3. So I can look at Halo 4, feel the same like nostalgia, the same kind of like the floaty kind of jump you have, and the guns seem a little bit sharper. They just like tweaked it for the better instead of completely swapping it up. I wasn't a fan of the kill streak, kind of the rec pack or whatever they're called. I'm not a fan of dropping in something because you earned it. But Halo
Yeah.
4, I mean, it wasn't in every single game, and it was okay the way they did it. So I don't know. All in all, I liked the way they tweaked 4 because they made it different enough.
Okay, so for us, this we're going to optimistically rate this a game. I
Hopeful.
I hope
Yeah,
I'm
I want
predicting
to go
that
back to
it's
Halo.
going to be good. Yeah, I want it to go back to its roots. I want it to figure out what it came from rather than what it turned into. I hope that what they're saying from what Halo Infinite is going to be, I really hope that my prediction is true and it will be a game. Because Halo will be fantastic if they can continue to do and build on what they already have. And it seems like that's what they're moving to. So I give it my stamp of game, and then we need to move on. Now, the next item that we're going to talk about. Would you like to introduce this next item?
This
Hyperverse.
is a loved game that has only gotten bigger and bigger and changed into so many different new avenues. This is
Well,
Minecraft.
technically, it's infinite.
It's the word infinite people don't like to harp on, but there's so much space, so it's so big, there's no way you could experience all of it in one world. But it is not
Right.
limited in such a way where you'll feasibly ever hit the wall, which there's a wall now. There used to not be. But, math
Yeah, well,
only goes for so long before it starts dying.
I think it's like 999.99 is the or something like that.
Yeah.
Some ridiculous grid pattern. That means that world is huge.
Yeah.
I have no other word to describe it.
Yeah, it's infinite is what people will say, and for all intents and purposes, it's definitely seems infinite. That's
And I
pretty
mean,
fun.
think of like, but this game is actually a really hard one to figure out why it was so successful. It
Yeah,
is such a simple game.
I know. I don't know exactly what the spark was. I don't know if it was like people just happened to mention it. I know, like, oh, this is kind of cool, interesting, and then it just exploded.
Yeah, exploded is not even a thing. Like there's so many people out there. It's one of the highest viewed channels on Twitch and YouTube. People talking about and playing Minecraft. It's just one of those things that I don't understand why it's so big. I love playing it, but I just don't understand why it's so big. And because of its mechanics, literally everybody uses the term punch tree get wood when they're talking about a survival game.
Yeah. Well,
And it's
I know one thing that I was listening up on the music design, which may be a big factor of why people enjoyed their experience. The C418 is the music designer for all of the all of music. Um,
right.
oh my goodness, the music that plays in this game bring me back to the times where I first heard it. Like it's just this ambient, sometimes like piano, just very soft music that's just playing randomly in the background, and it's very peaceful. It's like you don't really consciously think about the song, but like it
It's
brings me happy memories. It just feels good. Like the music is a huge part of this game.
yes, exact, and 100% I agree because the music it can make or break a game. All sound effects in a game can make or break a game. If you have a sound effect of somebody punching a, I don't know, a tree, and it sounds like you're punching metal, it's going to break your immersion. It's going to break
Yeah.
that. It's going to break that sense that you're actually doing something. So sound effects are huge. Music is huge in games. But where did the simplicity turn into the most complex game in the world? I mean, you can build whole computers in this game.
Right? There's so much like this became
And
it went from like a game that was very simple that became survival over the years, and now you have games within games. People put in ROMs of Pokemon that you can
yeah,
play in your
right?
Minecraft world, and it
And
looks good.
it's fantastic. I love it. And then like of course you've got the whole storyline behind Minecraft that you have to uncover.
Yeah,
So there
and
is that
nothing's
like
forced.
sense of, yeah, nothing. Not, you could literally do absolutely nothing but build portals and dig tunnels and make your house,
Oh.
if that's what you want to do. Or you could build the extravagant things that people have built with, you know, moving blocks that cause, animations to be able to happen and things like that in the game, and it's fantastic. But how did that start? Like, how does that simple of a concept where you're literally just walking through, punching a tree, getting some wood, and then turning it into something else, turn into such a big game? 112 112 million monthly active players.
I believe it.
112 million. That's an impressive number. And the fact of that is like the copies are always being bought, even by today's genre. And it's such a simple game. And obviously, with them porting it to, iPhone, iPad,
Yeah, it's on
Android,
everything. It's
Xbox.
modified to like an app, like a different style, like a Pokemon Go version. Like they've got tweaks and tweaks. There's the Telltale Games version for the story mode. So they're going down different avenues for all. It's like lore and immersion. It's great.
Yes. And talking, bringing up the Telltale version of Minecraft, it is a game that I want to play. I have not. I have looked into it many times, and I've always said I'm going to buy this, but never have. If you know what you want, if this game is fantastic and should be played, please put it in the comments, leave us a message, put it in the discussion channel or discussion board for the channel itself, and don't care. Just link it out there and tell us your opinion on it, because Telltale is one of those kind of, you have to enjoy that kind of game to be able to play it. And I did enjoy the Walking Dead series by Telltale, but later on it became more annoying and less fun. Does the Minecraft story mode hold true, or does it just fall flat on its face? Because I'm kind of indifferent. Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, back to the actual Minecraft. The modification world has taken over this game. I've
Oh
watched,
yes, mods are a
uh,
huge part of it.
and that's, I think, one of the main reasons why this game is such a good game. Because I mean, you can literally port. I've seen Cthulhu, I've seen
Mm-hmm.
dragons, I've seen, of course, they had the Ender Dragon at the end of Minecraft. Which, if you haven't heard about the Ender Dragon, then you're obviously not into Minecraft. But they have other dragons that you can import. You can import dinosaurs. You can do all kinds of different armor. You can upgrade everything in the game to be whatever you want. Not to mention the fact that you can change the exact, like, the graphics of the game itself to make it as pretty or as blocky as you want.
Yep, I love that. Just a little texture pack, or now known as resource pack. You can modify your world to look different, but still like it'll still play the same. It can look completely realistic with like photos taken and pasted on these blocks and these items, but it'll play the exact same, and it just changes the
Yeah,
feel.
and it's fantastic. And then as you build, like there, I even saw a mod where it looked smooth, not blocky.
Oh yeah, that one's a pretty good one too.
Yeah, that one is awesome. I really like playing with that one because then they actually programmed it properly where you could still jump on the blocks like they should be, but whenever you put the block down, it would smooth it out for you so you could build these super elaborate things and it would actually look realistic as all get out. But honestly, that mod made me miss the blockiness of Minecraft because it's so unique. It's very weird, but it's very unique. And then you got games that are also Minecraft esque with Terraria and Starbound.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're made by the same people who ended up, or I guess it was Microsoft that bought them, but I don't know if they're made by the same people or not, but they are very Minecraft esque.
The
And
I know that like Terraria and Starbound, well, because Terraria and Starbound are kind of linked because of one developer, but they have no creator that it was in both projects. Because for a while it was just Marcus Persson making Minecraft, who handed it off to his team at the time, the lead developer, the Jens Bergensten, and then he
yes,
has a smaller group around him as well. But there, it's just the similarities of like blocks and resource collection and gathering, and then building.
yeah,
That's where the similarities stop.
yeah, and then of course the super in depth crafting system in
Oh
Minecraft and
yeah, and the
Terraria and
drawing
all them.
style of crafting, that's
Yeah,
fantastic. It's intuitive once you understand it.
yeah,
Like
and if you
once,
want a pair of boots, you draw out a pair of boots in
yeah,
block
basically
format. And
draw a pickaxe.
I think the simplicity again, this goes back to like what we were talking about with Pokemon Yellow. The simplicity and the complexity mixed together in such a beautiful way is what makes this game so good. And then obviously the creative industry took over and they just started creating all these extravagant things like a giant sailboat, replications of landmarks. I think somebody even did Mount Rushmore.
Now they
And
have
like,
map arts, so you can make a giant map and now have a portrait of like the Mona Lisa. I've seen it done. It's crazy. And now you can paste that map around your friend's world. You know, you join a server, it's just like an art server, and now you have these maps that are just portraits in a museum. You can do kind of whatever. And that's just non-modded Minecraft. You can just
yeah, and
splice in some mods, and now you spice things up a bit.
yeah, and then of course, the I don't know, the simplicity of having the enemies come out at night and things like that.
Yeah,
It gives you like even with the super soothing music that they have, a creeper walking up on you is the scariest thing I have ever experienced in my life.
yeah, it can be pretty terrifying. I remember starting off playing in peaceful because I was so scared of them, and I can't imagine going back to that scared.
Yeah, I know, and it's fantastic. And I honestly, the game is so well constructed. It gives you the opportunity to follow a story that is hidden in this giant world where you eventually end up fighting a huge dragon that's surrounded by Endermen, and then just moving on with your life. And then you can build a portal to the Nether realm, all kinds of stuff. And it's a
Yeah,
fantastic combination of just all around beauty in the sense of what Minecraft actually is, and then, exploration. And then you throw in the survival aspect on top of it, and it's a masterpiece. And that
and
is what,
one big thing,
oh,
even though they've been changing things and they've been updating, your world that you played in alpha can be brought all the way to present. Your world will
that
just
is
get
true.
like it will be um, processed in their new like generation engine, whatever it is in the background. It'll say, "Hold on, we're updating your world," and it just brings you forward. So you don't lose what you have. Some things might be modified, like the biome lines might kind of tweak around because they've added so many biomes since alpha. But your world, your nostalgic world, that you've had a long time ago can be brought forward all the way, and
I
that's amazing.
still
There's
have
no
it.
loss.
I still have a world from 2011.
That's crazy.
So
Oh,
yeah, I haven't played in a really long time, so I haven't seen updates and things. But when I do populate it back up, it will be there. And that is just one of those little things that they did for specifically the players, because that's a lot of demand on a server. They did it all for the players, and then it's just fantastic. Like they don't have to do that, but my God, we appreciate it that they do,
yeah, it
because I
it
don't
helps
want
so
to.
much.
Yeah, I don't want to rebuild all of my nether portals. I don't want to have to get all the ender eyes again to go chase down the dragon, and I don't want to do that again. I want to go in and enjoy Minecraft for what it is. And then what's even better about continuing on with that specific subject, what's even better is that if you have a modded world, you can actually deactivate the mods and still play in that world.
Yeah, it'll just delete the things that were mods, but your
Yeah,
world should still be playable.
and that again, the play like the just the detail that they add in for the player is what makes this game stamped with the game approval. But sadly, we have run over our hour mark and we have got to go. But next week, we will be doing this again at roughly about the same time, maybe a little earlier. And we will be discussing 3 more games, but this time we're going to move to a more controversial topic. We're going to be talking about games such as Resident Evil 3, Cyberpunk 2077, up and coming games that have built a name for themselves that have nothing to back them besides their publishers and their development teams. So we will be talking about that, and we'll move on to more in-depth conversation next time. We just kind of wanted to ease the world into what we're trying to do here, which is where we discuss why games are what they are, and then rate them if they're actually a game or if they're garbage. Because we could have gone down any road and talked about some of the worst games ever created and then rated them all garbage, but we wanted to bring to light some of the ideas of why we think that Minecraft is so successful, Halo, Pokemon Yellow, which we tried to hit as many areas as we could, and then let you have our opinion, and we want to hear back from you. Please
Tell us
don't
how wrong
hesitate.
we are.
Yeah, there you go. Tell us exactly how wrong we are, because I know there's somebody to just yell at me because me saying that Halo 5 was trash, or that me saying that I didn't like Halo 2. I know that there's somebody out there that wants to do it. So please let me have it. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But yes, that is all the time we have for today. Until next time, this is Gamer Garbage. Say bye, Hyperverse.
Bye, Hyperverse.